wondered what does a financial planner's portfolio truly looks like? Why don't I today take you through a deep dive into my financial portfolio? Hi everyone, this is Shalini Gera. But before this, a disclaimer. Please don't rapidly copy this portfolio. This portfolio is basis my financial profile. I am a high risk investor. So my portfolio will also have a high risk and high reward element into it. I also have long-term financial goals. Accordingly, the portfolio has been constructed. Your financial portfolio also has to suit your financial profile. So take the help of a financial advisor, understand your financial goals, risk appetite, and accordingly construct your portfolio. So first of all, let me take you through the overall asset allocation. Out of the 100%, 75% is invested into equity, 5% is there in debt, and the remaining 20% is there in gold. I'll explain you the rationale and the elements of taking up each and every component. Broadly, the overall portfolio is generating 25% annualized return. Let's deep dive into each and every element. First of all, equity. As I mentioned that I am a long-term investor, I have financial goals which are all long-term in nature, and I also have a high risk and return appetite. So 75% of my overall portfolio is invested into equity. Let me take you through the sub-components of the equity portfolio. The equity portfolio itself takes up three different chunks. The first one is mutual funds, which I started approximately 12 years back through SIPs. The second chunk is direct stocks, and the third chunk is LPS. 66% of my overall equity portfolio is invested into mutual funds, and this is something that I've generated through systematic investment plan. Let me also show you what this mutual fund portfolio looks like and what are the returns generated by the mutual fund portfolio. So here is the breakup of the 66% in mutual fund portfolio. As I mentioned that I have a high risk and return appetite associated with myself, 55% of my overall portfolio is invested into small cap funds. Here also I've gone for a diversification effect. That means that I am investing in 4 to 5 different small cap funds, thereby taking up at least 500 different small cap stocks, because each and every small cap fund is investing into close to about 65 to 100 stocks. I am able to diversify into close to 500 stocks, thereby reducing the risk element by investing a large amount in small cap. The second element is the short duration fund. The sole purpose of this short duration fund is having an emergency fund. I've ensured that 6 months of my expenses is invested in an emergency fund, and I'm going to detail this creation of an emergency fund later on. But so far, please note that this is the short-term duration emergency fund that I have not kept into equity, but I've kept into debt assets. Third element is equity-linked savings schemes. When I had initially started my SIPs, and at that time I did not have any kind of home loans or any kind of kids tuition fee, I had invested into equity-linked savings schemes for the sole purpose of investing 1.5 lakh rupees under Section 80C and saving tax. The fourth element of this mutual fund portfolio is international funds. So deliberately, I've invested 16% of my overall mutual fund assets, equity assets rather, into an international technology fund. This has been done due to 3 reasons. Here, I'm able to get access to some good quality US technology stocks, including Amazon, Alphabet, Netflix, Oracle, and even semiconductor devices such as Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. And this, I am able to do so without utilizing or without having an expertise into the US stock market. So here, I'm relying upon a fund manager who's present in US market and is able to decide which US stocks to buy and which US stocks to sell at what point of time. The second reason for selection of this fund is that I am able to achieve a diversification effect. Because US markets and Indian markets are not necessarily correlated, hence if there is a point of time when Indian markets are not performing well, chances are bright that US markets will. And the third reason is that I am also able to achieve the effect of INR depreciation or dollar appreciation. Because US dollar is appreciating against INR currency by 3 to 5% every single year. By investing into US markets, this dollar appreciation gets added to the return of the dollar stocks, and I am able to get the net return. The fifth and the final element of this mutual fund portfolio is the multi-asset allocation. This multi-asset allocation has a good strategic reason. This is a fund that I am able to utilize by switching into equity at correction levels. So whenever market has a steep correction of more than 10 to 15%, I may not necessarily have liquidity in my bank account, but this is a liquidity that I have already maintained in my portfolio This multi-asset allocation is largely into debt funds, has a smaller exposure to equity, and whenever there's a steep market correction, I extract this fund and I switch it into equity, thereby buying stocks at lower prices as well as mutual fund at lower NAVs. The overall return which is being generated by my mutual fund portfolio is 31%. The next bigger chunk of my equity portfolio is direct stocks, where I have again gone for the diversification impact. So I have two stock portfolios. One is large cap in nature, which is something that I started 10-12 years back when I did not have any expertise into selection of it. Whatever stocks that I could see had a good quality financial strength associated with them and were large caps, I had bought them and they are retained till now. This large cap portfolio is generating a return of about 25% CAGR to me. Then I also have a momentum based portfolio in which I am buying stocks which have good quality financial strength. At the same time, they have an attractive valuation and also a high momentum attached to them. This is a more dynamic portfolio where I realign the stocks on a monthly basis the valuation and the stock price and the momentum as well. And I'm gradually in the process of converting my large cap portfolio into a momentum based portfolio, which is more market cap agnostic. This particular momentum based portfolio is generating a 31% CAGR for me. And the net result is that my overall stock portfolio is generating a 28% CAGR because of a higher side which I have also allocated to large cap stocks. The third element of my equity portfolio is NPS, which is a very, very small element. At the moment, I'm only holding 4% of my overall equity assets in my NPS portfolio. The sole purpose of building an NPS portfolio is that I am able to save about 15,000 rupees in taxes each and every year by investing 50,000 rupees under Section 80 CCT 1. Here also, because I have a long term which is there for my retirement, I am investing a higher portion into equity. I'm investing 75% into equity assets and 10 and 15% respectively in government bonds as well as corporate bonds through an active choice allocation. Now coming back to the debt section that I had told you about, 5% of my overall assets are in debt. The reason behind building a debt portfolio is to support any kind of emergencies. So I have saved 6 months of expenses in a debt mutual fund. This debt mutual fund portfolio is generating about 8% annualized return to me. And I have ensured that I am not investing into equity assets so that I am able to dip into this portfolio to support any emergency requirements whenever I want without the fear of capital erosion. Debt mutual fund portfolio is generating an 8% CAGR for me. The third part of my portfolio is gold investments. Now, gold is something which is not an intentional investment for me, but this is something that has gradually built over the years through gifts that I have received over various stages of my life. This portfolio is accounting for 20% of my overall assets and is growing at the rate of 12% per annum. This was my financial portfolio. Here are 5 key takeaways that I'm offering you through this portfolio. First of all, ensure that each and every asset of your portfolio is mapped to a particular goal. This will ensure that you do not end up extracting or redeeming a fund or an asset which is mapped to a different goal altogether. Secondly, ensure that your financial portfolio is suited to your risk appetite. If you have a higher risk appetite, ensure allocating a larger portion of your portfolio to equity in order to create the maximum wealth. Thirdly, with a higher risk appetite, you can also afford to allocate a larger portion of your portfolio to small caps. This is, of course, a function of the market cycle that we are in. When I had started building the mutual fund portfolio, at that time small caps were highly attractively priced. Why I was able to build 50% of my mutual fund asset in multiple small cap funds. At this point of time, if you are thinking of entering into small cap funds, your small caps have to be differently allocated as compared to this portfolio, considering the current market cycle that we are in. Fourthly, ensure that you have an emergency fund in place. This emergency fund is going to be very, very useful to you during difficult times in your life. Ensure that you have 6 months of expenses saved in an emergency fund. This could be a fixed deposit, a bank account. For me, it's a debt mutual fund. Ensure that this is not into equity so that you can easily take it out without the fear of any capital erosion. And fifth and finally, it is more important to spend time in the market. So build a discipline for yourself. Your discipline will ensure that you are able to build a larger portfolio without having too much of an impact on your monthly income as well as expenses. It is more important to systematically invest, and this will help you in building a larger corpus over the time. Thank you. This is Shalini Gera signing off. Please do let us know how you like today's video. Do let us know on what other topics you would want us to build financial content on. We'll be seeing you again. Thank you. Bye-bye.